Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this three-part video about Ketu, the south node of the moon, is absolutely wonderful, and this is the part one, which is all about what is Ketu, the south node of the moon? How does it affect you and your life and your fate and your destiny? How are the nodes of the moon analysed? And then please do go on to the part 2 and the part 3 videos. Okay, part 1, understand your south node Ketu in your love and life. This post shows you the meaning and importance for each of us of south node Ketu's transit through the Vedic sign of Libra. And secondly, this three-part post also demonstrates the importance of understanding our nodal return, the fated script time period, when Ketu in the heavens transits across your natal Ketu, happens every 18.5 years. And thirdly, it's so important to understand the how to interpret the effect of Ketu, south node of the moon, in your birth chart, setting up a fate and destiny in your love and life. And fourthly, it's so important to be open to healings of your Ketu south node life and relationship, material fates and destinies, especially at the time of your Ketu return. And by the way, please do see the shortly upcoming follow-on post all about Rahu, the north node of the moon, which I'm planning to do, video and blog. So what is Ketu, the south node of the moon? Let's start first by understanding the nature of the nodes of the moon in your birth chart, Rahu north node and Ketu south node. The nature of Ketu in our birth chart depicts major themes in the total karmas we incarnate to deal with in this incarnation. Ketu depicts particular scripts brought over from our past life for us to solve and work with and perceive now. Note, by the way, of course, that each of our planets are part of our total karma. It's not just Ketu, but Ketu, the south node, is the supreme past life indicator. The energy of all the planets in our birth chart accurately describe a facet of the circumstances of our birth, the personality we'll have, the love scripts, plus the nature of our fate and destiny in this life. And we are, of course, here on this earth to grow in spiritual awareness of this past life originated destiny. That's why we're here. But focusing on the role of Ketu south node in the creation of our life purpose and destiny, note that each of us comes into this life from where Ketu, the south node, is in our chart. That's because Ketu is the central depiction of the karmas our soul especially chose to incarnate with and work with at this time. But note, super importantly, that each of us is thrown across our chart to where Rahu, the north node of the moon, is in our chart, exactly opposite Ketu. Rahu is a statement of our incarnational life purpose, the direction of our fate and destiny in this lifetime. Now, the nature of energy of Rahu is strong and driven and even dark. We have to purify it. But if it wasn't strong and driven, we would not get impelled to the other side of our destiny direction, the nodal axis in our chart. We would not arrive at the needed imperative karmic destination. And note also that we absolutely need to realize that if we don't purify Rahu's energy in this life, then we will experience him as dark and driven. As an example, Sun conjunct Rahu people can be so driven and me first. And this can be so full of verbal justification of their me first darkness. Okay, so how are the nature of the nodes of the moon analysed? So basically they're analysed by sign, house, aspects, the nakshatra placement, and the Varga charts placement, the divisional charts. So looking at Ketu by sign, someone with Ketu in Libra will have come into this life from a past life of too much codependence in relationship. And so he's thrown across the chart to Rahu in Aries in this life. Life events will outturn in the course of his life in a way that forces him to become more assertive and responsible. Ketu by house. Well, for example, if Libra is in the 4th house, mother will not be there for that person. Ancestors won't be there for that person. And so that person will be impelled to work away like mad towards where Rahu is in the 10th house, the 10th house of career, and to seek to find value that way. But of course that's doomed to failure because we can't find value from career. We must learn to value ourselves. We must learn the value of ourselves, which might well have been totally wiped out in childhood. Analysing Ketu by aspects. Well, for example, if a Ketu is conjunct Sun, then fathering will be weak and lacking for that person, quite possibly producing a weak person in this life. Indeed, Sun in the 4th house of mother and ancestry will mean mother will do such fathering as the person receives. And that may not be helpful or healthy. Father will be absent and weak, and the person will be harmed by all that. And you'd also need to look at the standing of Venus in the chart, because Venus rules Libra. The nakshatras, the wonderful 27-sign lunar zodiac of Vedic astrology, which are supreme statements of our emotionally based consciousness and our love scripts. We also need to examine the effect of which of the 3 nakshatras that are within the sign of Libra a person's Ketu is within. These are Chitra, Swati and Vishaka. So, for example, if the person has their Ketu in Swati nakshatra, well, that's very complex because Swati is ruled by Rahu. So past life issues and present life issues get all very tangled and mixed up in this life. Swati behavioural scripts will be very important for this person to leave behind in this life. And the last analysis dimension is the Varga charts. The Varga charts are the wonderful divisional charts of Vedic astrology, each of which says something quite wonderful about a particular area of your life. So looking just at the Navamsha, the 9th harmonic chart, which is the most important for focusing on past life issues, our relationship issues in this life, and also for defining our ideal ashram, our ideal way of life in this life. Well, let's use an example. If, for example, you have Ketu conjunct Pluto in the 3rd house of your Navamsha, your D9 chart, you'll have the most explosive sibling issues which could call you to fail and die or to become reborn and empowered. And also, most importantly, equally, you were born in this lifetime to find empowerment through creative effort and expression in this life. And indeed in the Varga chart, Rahu opposite in the 9th house of the Navamsha, with that placement you are impelled as a destiny, a life purpose, to move and work to achieve spiritual realization, partly through fathering yourself. So you can see from this quick, simplified sample analysis how crucial and vast the position of the nodes of the moon are in a life, in your life. Focusing here, especially in this post, on Ketu, and how powerful the nodes are in creating your personality, your way of relating, your fate, your destiny in this life. But of course, as we learn to decode and understand all this, we can heal it, we can take charge, we can achieve wonders. So get in touch with me for a reading. Go to my Star Wheel Astrology website, go to the buy page. Also have a look at my Love Star Dating, new worldwide spiritual dating site for those on a spiritual pathway. Subscribe to my video and blog. And do see the parts 2 and 3 video and blog posts all about Ketu the South Node in the moon. So the next part, part 2 of the 3 parts, starts with what does it mean when Ketu South Node transits the Vedic sign of Libra. Do see that. And do see the wonderful 3rd part where I volunteer to share the absolutely amazing and unexpected healings that came my way at this time, which is my 5th Ketu return. So I hope this has been helpful, and go to part 2 and then part 3. Thank you.